This is a journey where each turn reveals a new landscape. Lush, broad-leaved forests gradually give way to the wooded steppe. The steppes morph into mountain terrains, and rocky slopes morph into alpine meadows. Rare animals and most unusual plants, breathtaking views and intoxicating air, and a host of dangers as well.
We carry firearms, and so do the poachers.
They shoot without hesitation.
No human is a stranger to fear.
No, we are not afraid. There are two of us. And we have a fierce guardian now. Look.
In this part of Russia, everyone acts as a guardian of nature because they know firsthand how much it needs our protection. This is Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve. Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve is located on the left bank of the Yenisei River in the southern part of the Krasnoyarsk region. It covers an area of 390,000 hectares. Elevations range from 500 to 2,735 meters above sea level. The reserve's unique position between the Siberian taiga and the Central Asian steppes results in an astonishing diversity of species. There are 1,126 plant species, 260 bird species, and 61 mammal species, including the reindeer, the Pallas cat, and the snow leopard.
The Western Sayan mountains have always been a remote terrain, and it had been very difficult to get to this area before the Sayano-Shushensky Dam was built and the adjacent reservoir came to be. The Yenisei River was extremely tumultuous and unpredictable.
When the Yenisei was still flowing free, the currents were very strong. They've kind of slowed down a little, but in some areas it's still pretty rough. There are spots where the currents are swirling, there are whirlpools, and when you're sailing, you can feel how strong and mighty the river actually is. You can feel it by the way the boat moves across the water, and in summer, when the reservoir is full, everything is nice and smooth.
The idea to protect the sables in the Sayan Mountains appeared in the early 20th century. After a number of expeditions, the area was designated and funds of more than 20,000 rubles were allocated. A sable farm was founded, but it didn't last long as the Russian Revolution and the Civil War resulted in the project being scrapped even before the nature reserve was officially opened. It wasn't until the 1960s that the idea was reignited.
There was a man named Yenisei Sokolov, a wild game manager and zoologist in the Krasnoyarsk Institute. And he was the one who initiated the process. He came up with the idea of establishing Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve in the late 1960s. At the same time, the construction of the Sayano-Shushensky Dam had started. It was crucial to understand how this power plant affects the environment and how to reverse the damage. Of course, the dam damaged the ecosystems of the Yenisei greatly. As the poplar woods were flooded, the burrows animals such as minks and otters were submerged as well, and their populations subsequently declined.
As a result of the hydropower plant construction, over 4,500 hectares of land were submerged in water, which is a lot, even though it's just a little over 1% of the reserve's total area.
Today we can say that almost all ecosystems have successfully recovered. For instance, local population of the Siberian ibex. After the area was flooded, its population was basically divided in two because the Sayano-Shushensky Dam is a barrier, an obstacle. The ibex can't cross this body of water to move to the other side. But both populations have fully recovered by now and regularly produce offspring. We see lots of goatlings every year. It's the same with otters. There was a long period where we never saw them around, and now we often encounter them and their population keeps growing. I'm collecting plants for a herbarium. We collect them on a regular basis to see how the composition changes over time, and what species are the earliest blooming. As the water level constantly fluctuates, there are obviously no trees in the area, but there are green glades and meadows, and lots of flowers that bloom in spring and early summer. As water is consistently present, the soil is moist and even wet in some places, so it gets warm sooner, and as a result, the grasses start to grow earlier. And this area turns green before other locations. The animals love feeding on new spring grass. Bears often come here, as well as various hoofed animals.
A major attraction for tourists is getting the chance to take a look at the animals that come to the lakeshore, as it gives them a unique opportunity to watch ibexes, Altai wapitis, and even bears in the wild while staying completely safe. Another must-do for tourists is taking a glance at the osprey's nests. The osprey is an amazing and beautiful bird included in the Russian list of endangered species.
Ospreys build their nests on top of broken trees, which grow in the sloughs. It is a very convenient location for the birds, as their diet consists mostly of fish. There's one chick in the nest, and these large birds are its parents. They'll keep circling above our heads until we leave.
Today is an abnormal day. It's raining like crazy. We haven't seen a thunderstorm like this in 6 weeks. It rained hard in May, but back then there was no hail. And this hail today is truly something else, unbelievable. This is the wettest area in the whole reserve, the northern catchment area. The clouds kind of get caught in the mountains. They get stuck here, and that's why the precipitation here is the heaviest. As soon as it started hailing, the windows got all fogged up, I could hardly see anything, so I slowed down, and we were going at a low speed. And when I saw the obstacle, I just stopped the engine, but the boat still had enough momentum, and we went over the log in the water. It didn't cause a lot of damage, though. Lena, turn off the engine. The only problem was how to move the log away because it was floating, and as it moved to the surface, it kind of pushed the boat up a little. Yay, we did it! These logs are a real problem here. When you move across the reservoir on a boat, there's always the risk of hitting one, when the visibility is limited due to the weather conditions or because it's too dark. There have been a few accidents. A boat once hit a log and it pierced through its transom and took away a good chunk of it along with the engine. The boat didn't sink, but the engine just dropped into the water. Fortunately, it was attached to the boat with a cable.
When the area was flooded after the dam construction, about 3.5 million cubic meters of timber got into the water. A large-scale cleanup project was developed, and a huge amount of trees were removed from the reservoir. Yet there are still a lot of submerged trees, which has a negative impact on the water composition and ecosystem. Another problem is floating logs that stick together and cause problems for boats as well.
I'm soaking wet.
What, you didn't get any hail here?
There's a thunderstorm, and you don't even have umbrellas. It was nice and sunny until you brought the bad weather.
It was only 30 minutes ago that the sun was shining.
This is our only ranger station on the water. The water levels in the reservoir fluctuate a lot. Now it's almost full, and by spring the water will have gone down by 40 meters. That is, if we were measuring its level against a straight vertical scale. This is the annual variation due to the hydropower plant operation. It would be over 100 meters if measuring by the shore. And as the station is on the water, it functions as a kind of checkpoint. All boats make a stop here.
The employees work in rotating shifts. Each stint lasts for about 3 weeks. They say that they get most tired when there's nothing to do. Usually, though, there's plenty of work.
We maintain the station ourselves, cleaning, repairing, fixing stuff, chopping firewood. Then again, we're in the middle of the taiga, so we have to maintain the trails as well. We also patrol the area because as wildlife rangers, we must always know what is happening, whether there are any intruders, how the animals are doing. We observe the life in the taiga and watch the animals going about their day. In summer, when the days are hot, the water from the soil and from the plants evaporates. And in the evenings, as it cools down, this fragrant air comes rolling down along the slopes, and all these aromas are brought here. The scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, the woody evergreen overtones, the tree resin, and when all these aromas mix, the scent is like nothing else. It's unforgettable and truly intoxicating. There's nothing like it. If you don't care about forests, this job will be torture for you. It is hard, especially if you're used to living in the city. In the taiga, there are all kinds of midges and gnats. There are ticks. It rains incessantly. It's damp. It's wet, and after 2 or 3 days, all you want is to get out of here. It takes a certain type of person to work in this place. Put it on that box.
Okay.
Here.
Sometimes people come to us and they're super enthusiastic and they're like, we love nature. We want to be its guardians. Give us the job. And in a week's time, they ask us to take them out of the taiga. They say, we quit. We can't take it anymore. It's too hard. The rangers are divided into station workers, those who stay at the stations, and the task group, those who patrol the area. The latter may spend up to 6 weeks in a row patrolling the territory. You carry all your stuff on your back. We take a lot of food supplies, among other things. The backpack can weigh up to 30, 40 kilos. It's not a job that just anyone would agree to. Of course, we're trying to make it easier for our rangers. For example, we're introducing more frequent mounted patrolling.
These horses were brought here young, and professional horse masters broke them in. And now we can ride these horses. They won't come to us now. They've just had their oats, so they're not hungry and don't feel like approaching us. They live in semi-free conditions, which means that we bring them here when there's a job for them. And the rest of the time, they are free to roam around here and graze and do whatever they like.
Easy, easy, stand still. Although there are no roads as such, there are lots of ways to enter the reserve, because there's the Yenisei River, and part of the reserve's southern border runs along the border of the Republic of Tuva. So the border is rather porous, and the people here have been hunting from the dawn of history. We have to stay alert. This is the southern border of the reserve, and the Shagur station, which is located closest to the Republic of Tuva and is guarded by a not yet frightening dog named Busya. The dogs are kept at these stations to watch for predators and intruders and to alert the rangers of any unwanted presence. It is crucial to remain alert all the time because this station's rangers, Yuri and Natalia, were living a completely different life a mere 5 years ago. The only animals they were taking care of were their livestock. And the word guard also meant something different. Yuri worked installing fire alarm systems.
He was always saying, I want to live in the taiga. I want to live at the ranger station and work as a ranger. I want to be close to nature. I want to see all these things with my own eyes. And then this thing happened when the company he was working for closed and he became unemployed. And he saw an acquaintance one day, and the man said, why don't you apply for a job at the reserve? And that's what he did.
At my previous work, I never had a moment's rest. There were calls 24/7, an alarm goes off somewhere. You hop in your car and you go there to check. And life here is much calmer and easier and much less stressful. I haven't used a mobile phone since I came to this station.
And I forgot about my 6 cows, 30 sheep, and my geese and hens. That's what we'd been doing. We'd been farming livestock. And then we sold all our animals, left everything behind, and went to live here. It took us just 2 weeks. He went to the taiga, and our son was in the army. I was left alone with all these animals. We had cows and calves and pigs and all kinds of poultry, and I had to feed them, look after them. There was no one to help, so I was crying a lot. I was totally overwhelmed. I was trying my best, but it became unbearable, so I cried a little more and then sold everything.
She was happy to move here.
This is our vegetable garden. It took a lot of effort and hard work. The soil was brought from the Kurgol station. There's no soil here. It had to be brought in bags. And we brought it here, and then we made these raised beds. We did it all just to have fresh, homegrown vegetables in summer. There's nothing like a homegrown cucumber.
Yuri and Natalia have been working here for 4 years. Before Shugur, they lived at another station called Chulaksi on the western border of the reserve.
We travel across the water, across the reserve, and then we get ashore. After that, we walk across the taiga for 3 to 4 days, about 75 kilometers.
No, it's less than that.
Sometimes we walk and sometimes we ride.
In winter, we use snowmobiles.
Yes, across shallow spots.
There are also suspension bridges,
Yes, suspension bridges.
but they're deep in the taiga.
I was initially scared of cliff walls along the streams. They're called prejims. They're very high and steep. And there's a narrow path along the edge, and you feel kind of like a mountain goat. Yura says, be quick, hurry up. There are bear droppings and they're fresh. What if there's a bear nearby? And I say, I'm more scared of falling down than of meeting a bear. But it turned out okay.
Whenever you see bear tracks, you just sing aloud.
Yes, I usually sing something cheerful and inspiring from my childhood when I was a scout in a Komsomolets. And I try to act brave, although my voice is trembling and I myself am shaking too. But you have to put on the act. Afterwards, we had a good laugh about it.
Missed it.
In a month, our shift ends,
Yes.
and we move to another station.
It varies.
There are times when we don't see a single human being for months. But you know, we're actually okay with it. We make our own bread. There's an oven here.
And pans.
And pans.
Bread pans.
And there's a water spring, and we take our water from it. When looking out of the window, we often feel kind of afraid to upset this delicate balance in nature. We would often see roe deer, Altai wapitis, wild boars, wolves playing with each other as if they were dogs. Their pups are very playful. There were also bears. We once saw 4 bears in a single day. At different times and sides, but in the same day.
Coming from different directions.
We must not do any harm.
We're guests here. This is their land.
Our job is to preserve it all, the way it is. In short,
To keep it,
you have to love it.
to protect it.
Love it all.
Late in the evening, the task group returns to the central ranger station after 2 weeks in the taiga. 2 of the men were visiting the westernmost Chulaksi station, so they also happened to meet some bears.
As I was going down the mountain slope, I saw 3 bears. One ran by just 10 meters away. I guess it was just as scared of us as we were of it. It's a dangerous job. We sometimes do meet poachers. We make arrests, but it's a risky business, because we carry guns and so do the poachers. So if we see them while they're in their cabin, then we have to wait until they fall asleep, because if you try to catch them straight away, you never know what may happen. The key is to take them unaware.
Calling the ranger's job dangerous is an understatement. In 1994, a whole group of rangers disappeared in the taiga. It is believed that they might have been killed by poachers. Several years ago, a memorial wall was put here in the Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve to honor and commemorate the rangers and employees of Russian nature reserves died on duty. Some of them were killed by wild animals, some drowned in the river, and some died while battling a forest fire. The whole 400,000-hectare area of the reserve is basically guarded by 12 people who make up the task group. Each of them knows about the potential risks that come with the job.
My previous job had a lot to do with communication. I was a police officer. And after I retired, I decided to go into the woods, so to say. I have a superior who more or less knows where the animal trails are, where they regularly pass. All hunting traps are usually put along those trails. That's how they hunt musk deer or ibixes, for example. And our job is to protect the animals, save them from hunters, and prevent poachers from trapping and killing them.
There's a high demand for rare animals parts such as Altai wapiti antlers or deer musk glands. And as long as there's a demand and as long as the price is high, rates of poaching will stay high as well. Which is why poachers keep coming here. Animal parts are sold to Korea and China, where they're used in traditional medicine. The price for 1 kilogram of Altai wapiti antlers ranges from 1,500 to 2,000 rubles. 1 gram of the musk deer's musk gland costs the same. An average musk gland weighs about 15 to 20 grams. So you do the math. And those poachers use barbaric hunting methods. They use snare traps. Any animal can get into a trap like that.
A poacher can set snare traps for catching a musk deer, and anything including a snow leopard may get into one.
This area is the northernmost region of the snow leopard habitat, so it's not surprising that this animal has become a symbol of the Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve. In total, there have been 16 snow leopards in the reserve's recorded history, but by 2018, almost all of them either moved to other areas or were killed as a result of illegal hunting. There was a single male leopard left. People called it Ichthyander. It got its name because it could swim across the reservoir.
There was only one snow leopard left. He never left the reserve's area, and we would see him now and then. But of course, when there are no female leopards, there can be no reproduction and no way to restore a population. But thanks to cooperation on an international level, 2 snow leopards, a male and a female, were brought to Russia from abroad. We brought them from Tajikistan, where there's a real problem with these animals in terms of prey availability. The snow leopards there often go onto farms in search of food and attack cattle and livestock. And it was from farmers that we got our 2 leopards. This pair spent about a month in the enclosure, and then we released them out into the wild, on this very spot we're sitting in right now.
Before being released, the animals were fitted with satellite collars. It helped the researchers to learn a lot about their behavior and migration patterns, and to find out the best location for setting camera traps.
And sometime later, we saw that each leopard had established its home range. So now they really felt at home here. So now there were 3 of them in the reserve, 1 female and 2 male leopards, and they got along quite well. The female was released, say, in March, and the next year it came into estrus. It was in 2020. And in October 2020, we got photos of the female with her kittens. They are pretty grown up now, more of adolescents, about the size of their mother, and she teaches them to hunt. In the video, you can see they're fighting each other and learning how to stalk prey, how to hide and attack.
In 2010, there were 10 snow leopards in the nature reserve. Then, there was only one left. And today, there are 3 adult leopards and 2 kittens. The numbers give you a good idea of how fragile this environment is, how little it takes to destroy it, and how much effort it takes to preserve it. Success is never a guarantee, and a snare trap may nullify years of hard work and dedication. The hard and thankless job of the Sayano-Shushensky Nature Reserve employees may seem to some people as pointless and meaningless. But when you see it all with your own eyes, you can realize that this is the only way we, humans, can justify our existence.